Hello, Jamie Breen here. It is February 12th, 2024. Well into February. Great Super Bowl last night. Really enjoyed that. Long game. Fortunately, there were storms this morning, which prevented me from swimming at the morning workout, which I don't think I'd have got to anyway. I think I'd probably slept through it. In any case, did swim at lunch today, so that's good. I want to talk today about several things. No guitar here, so those of you that are, we'll get the guitar back at a future date. But thanks for those that suffered through that with me last week. In any case, I want to talk today a little bit about athletic performance and some of the factors which go into that. Specifically, I want to talk a little bit about alcohol today. I've been in an experiment since the start of the year. Started with dry January, sort of as a spur of the moment decision, and it's been very interesting. Uh, Particularly relative to some of the swimming workouts I've had recently. It's a little eye-opening. So anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit. So in the 12th of February, we're now, a little over 2 weeks away from that 1st of March date, which is the date that I'm going to be recontacting some of the English Channel boat captains that got back to me in my initial query about an English Channel swim. Pretty much the consensus seems to be that that 2025 is kind of out of the question. 2024, I guess, also out of the question. These guys are booked up. I had someone ask me, why don't you just do it, without a boat captain, just wade in and go over to Dover and wade in and swim across. And it's a good thought, to do that on your own. Maybe put one of those buoys behind you or something. But I think probably not such a good idea, given that it is one of the world's busiest shipping channels, and I don't think that a boat would really see you without another, a ship would see you without another boat there. The other problem is, of course, I don't have any idea where I'm going. And for most of that swim, your sighting point, I guess, is the third jellyfish over the second wave. So, good idea though. I have a feeling that there may be a reasonably long list of people that have attempted that, and a reasonably short list of those who have succeeded. I think probably the true solo English Channel swim. I've been watching the True Detective with Jodie Foster. One of the characters sadly committed suicide by walking into the frigid waters of whatever the Alaskan Sound is up there. So kind of a similar thing. Anyway, Super Bowl last night, terrific. Congratulations to the Chiefs. Somebody pointed out that Taylor Swift's boyfriend was playing in this game that was going on during the Usher concert. So, but it was fun the whole enterprise. So, as I said, I took on this dry January, kind of spur of the moment, and I've been reading quite a bit about alcohol and just your body in general, and certainly how it might relate to athletic performance, and kind of thinking through this sort of challenge I have of trying to swim across Catalina or the English Channel or these big bodies of water at a relatively advanced age, and quickly coming to the realization that if you're going to do it successfully, a lot of the crap that you maybe did as a younger person with impunity might be less than ideal as you go forward. And certainly I've had some background in reading and watching some of the like Andrew Huberman videos. Clearly a really smart dude and who's really delved at a very granular level, or cellular level perhaps, into the impact of alcohol on the human body. And spoiler alert, sort of came back with some pretty nasty sort of findings. And the truly alcohol is poison, right? I mean, it's I guess we break down into acetylacetone or whatever. Watch Andrew Huberman and he'll give you the lowdown on all the technical stuff. But suffice it to say, it really isn't good for you. It isn't good for your liver. It isn't good for your brain. It isn't good for your gut health. It isn't good for your sleep. And so all of these things, gut health, sleep, the ability to remove toxins from your bloodstream. It turns out that it causes a fair amount of inflammation potentially. All of these things are things that you wouldn't put on a list of things that you want to have happen if you're trying to be an athlete. And so made the decision to do Dry January. We're now into the middle of February, and I'm going to stick with this for the time being. Interesting aside, had the great opportunity to watch the Super Bowl last night with my stepdaughter and her husband. Great folks, and one of the first Super Bowl parties I've ever been to where I drank fake beer and athletic fake beer specifically, which is really, really good. Maybe if this vlog ever really catches on, the people from Athletic will sponsor me and send me a free case or two, which would be just great. But it's I'll tell you, that one's good. And the other, I was at dinner the other night, and we were in an Italian restaurant, and I had the Peroni Zero, and I've got to tell you, it tasted exactly to me like regular Peroni. Maybe the Peroni folks have been pulling one over on us all these years, but not putting alcohol in their beer. But anyway, it was just terrific. If you like Peroni, you'll like Peroni Zero, and they're certainly welcome to send me free case or two as well. So I do think though that given this thought of slowing down or quitting, in my case the alcohol for a little while, I want to talk about how I got involved in alcohol relative to my athletics. Initially, I'd been a pretty good swimmer in high school, pretty good on a relative basis. Was not ever a world champion or anything, but I won more than I lost, and I was one of the better guys on a very, very good team. And we found ourselves, our relays were sort of all American and all of that kind of thing. And I was a solid contributor, on a very, very good team. And during those years, during the high school training years, we kind of signed a pact at the start of the season that we would all refrain from stuff like alcohol. I guess maybe they'd had a problem with it in the years prior. So this, I don't know whether it came from the coach or the senior guys on the team, but it's something that we all just did. And which was great, and I trained my butt off in high school, 10-12,000 yards a day, pretty consistently. Swam all summer in the 50-meter pool, with guys from other schools, and it was great. It was really probably the best shape I'll ever be in physically. And it was a fantastic time. But I will say that just by my nature and the nature of a kid trying to play sports and being very competitive in that time, I got really, really kind of way high strung and overwrought about my competing. Maybe all kids do this, but it was, I lived and died with every race, and got my stomach tied in knots, and couldn't sleep sometimes the night before a big competition. I don't know that I ever barfed before a race. Certainly barfed after races a few times, but it was I was pretty serious about it to the point where I think that seriousness may have detracted from my performance, and maybe a chill pill might have helped me, and when you're young and you haven't had the cumulative negative effects of different substances that have negative effects, a little bit probably doesn't hurt you too much. And so anyway, I did finish my time as a swimmer in high school. Didn't finish it quite as well as I'd hoped, but pretty well, and went out on a high note relative, at least to my own best times and all that kind of stuff. Didn't quite place as highly in the state competitions and all that kind of thing, regional competitions, but I did okay. It was fine, and found myself in college, and I kind of thought I was done. I attended college at Northwestern University, which is a Division I athletic school, although you wouldn't have known it when I started there back in 1979. But it is a Division I school. I was not there to swim. I don't think the coach was even aware that I was coming. I'd had conversations with a number of colleges, particularly some of the smaller schools, and they were keen to have me come, and I would have been a very good Division III swimmer, good enough to go to the nationals and all that kind of crap. But at the D1 level, I just wasn't quite at that skill or talent or whatever. But it turns out that when I got to Northwestern, our team was terrible there, and they really needed guys just to keep the program alive. They ultimately built a fantastic facility there, but the facility had not been built. We were swimming in a pool from the 1920s. It was only 5 lanes. It's kind of embarrassing. There were some schools like Indiana, would come to town, and they wouldn't swim in our pool. They'd have to go and swim in my high school pool at Evanston High School, which was a great facility. But I'd go back to my high school pool to swim college swim meets when somebody good came to town, because the facility was crappy. But the morale was low, the facility was bad. Actually, we had a very, very good coach when I started there, and I was going through fraternity rush, and I ran into a guy that had gone to Evanston High School with me and had been a swimmer, and was probably closer to being a legit D1 guy than I was. But he said, "Oh man, I didn't know you were coming here. You gotta come out to swim. We need you." I'm like, "You're kidding, man." I didn't believe it, but he persisted, and I called up the coach and explained who I was, and the coach said, "Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll call you back in 10 minutes." Great. So he goes and calls my high school coach to find out if I'm a douchebag or not. And fortunately, my high school coach vouched for me, and he called me back and said, "Yeah, we'd love to have you. Your coach says you're great. You're a hard worker. You show up and you don't complain too much." So, okay. And so I found myself on the swim team at Northwestern. And now the thing is, at the swim team at Northwestern, we didn't have a pact that said no drinking during the swim season. As a matter of fact, an awful lot of our activities on road trips for swimming were really oriented around the acquisition of beer. So that was a sort of a integral part of my college athletic experience. And I've got to say, whether it was just the fact that I was kind of there on a lark, or that we loosened up some of the training mores, and got into things like having beers and smoking weed, and not at meets, but in general. It I think it all helped me to a mindset that was much more conducive to performing well. So paradoxically, I'm putting substances in my body that probably aren't doing my body any favors, but it really helped to teach me not to take it so goddamn seriously. And in so doing, of course, as soon as you stop taking it so goddamn seriously, you start to perform better. And so I found myself as a college swimmer training less hard than I had in high school, truth be told. Certainly not minding my P's and Q's, in the off hours. And I found myself performing better. And so from a mindset perspective, as I move forward, with my life as a pretty typical, adult in our society, moderate social drinker, I found myself with a mindset that, hey, it probably ain't great for you, but it sure helped me when I was performing at my best that I ever performed. And so my kind of mindset was, geez, how bad could it be, right? And so that with that mindset, I sort of went through life and got back into masters swimming about 20 years ago, and it really one of the things masters swimming I always would tell people and thought is, hey, this really, if I go and swim 4,000 or 5,000 yards 3-4 times a week, think of all the beer I can drink on the weekend and not get fat, right? Or not get as fat. And so that became kind of another mantra. Hey, this helped me when I was good, back in the day. And hey, I can do this and keep my waistline relatively intact. So anyway, that mindset went on for years and years. But as recently, I've started to read and think more about the true impact of alcohol. I decided that maybe I'd see what training was like, without it. And now I have not been in any competitions yet, but I can pretty much assure you that I'm not going to be losing sleep the night before a swimming race, because once you learn to not give a shit, you don't give a shit, right? I mean, I care about it, but getting all worked up isn't gonna help anything. So I sort of learned that lesson, and alcohol perhaps helped me learn that lesson. That is, it might be that during a time during the process of consuming alcohol, there is a lower anxiety period followed by a higher anxiety period, and I was sort of making judgments about my attitude towards competing during the lower anxiety, smaller portion of the experience. And so, but that being said, it's a lesson I've sort of learned. So I don't think I need substances one way or the other. So I'll tell you now, almost 6 weeks into no alcohol, I had a workout today you would not friggin' believe, man. We did the main part of the workout. I swam 5,000 today at lunch. And the main part of the workout was you did 200. You went through this twice. First time you did just swimming with no equipment on, and the second time you did it with a pull buoy and paddles. And so you did a 200-yard swim, 10 seconds rest. Then you did a 175-yard swim, 10 seconds rest. 150-yard swim, 10 seconds rest. 125, 100, 75, 50, 25, all with, the 25, we after the 25 you stopped and took a little bit of time to put your equipment on, but the paddles and the pull buoy. But anyway, I found myself, so I did the 200 and 230, so went on 240. Forget the 175. The 150 I did in about 150, so I went on 2 minutes, and on and on and on. And I was holding intervals that I haven't held probably in the entire time I've been a master swimmer. You know, you get so that you can do, you know, back into it for a while. Back in college, I used to do, you know, hundreds on 110 sometimes, 110 interval, hold them all under a minute. Yeah, so I'm not as fast as I was, but in terms of holding the same speed on a challenging interval through a very long set, it was crazy. I mean, I have not been able to do that in 20 years. Now, I don't know whether it's that I've been pretty good about my training since I got back to Dynamo, or the place where I've been training in December, or whether I just had a good day. Sometimes you just have a good day. I've been doing strength training, so maybe that's been helping. But I think it's something else. I think it's kind of the combined. I've been sleeping well. You know, my liver is probably improved to the point where it can start addressing toxins that might be causing inflammation, whereas it probably wasn't doing that before. My gut health is probably better than it's been. So you know, a lot of good stuff going on there. And again, I'm no one likes a you know, a really good Manhattan more than me, but at least for the time being, I'm gonna keep this up, and we'll see where it goes. I think that's about all I got to say today. Maybe I've kept it shorter. I've been told that maybe brevity is the essence of goodness, or some such thing. But I'll catch up with y'all next week, and again in 2 weeks. Keep you posted on the progress in acquiring a good boat captain for my upcoming in 2 years swim. So thank you.